Good evening, everybody. Going to start the maintenance development meeting. It is Thursday, March 5th at 4:32 p.m. Um, my name is LeVar Click Bruce. I have with me my counselor online here, Maria Perez. Um, and I know Maria was one of the ones who wanted to have the meeting as well because we had some questions as a council to kind of figure out what these four items were and to try to dive into these items. I was hoping we'll have more counselors online, but it's myself and Maria, so we'll hear it out and hopefully get this out of committee and so that they can be heard on our meeting. So I'll turn it over to, I'm not sure if you're going or if you
I can start. Why don't I start by just sort of giving a little bit of background? So this is a grant that the city got from the Mass Clean Energy Center. It is not a traditional grant in that we receive the funding and then carry out the tasks. The way that this is working is the Mass Clean Energy Center does not actually give us any money. So we don't see any money. What happens instead is they selected a technical consultant who basically guides us through the process. So they help us do site selection, they helped us with outreach, they will help us with design and overseeing install of the chargers, as well as I believe there's a longer term maintenance plan for the term of the grant funding that they will also help us through. And so just so counselors understand how we got to actual sites, because I think that's an important piece. Basically, city staff from various departments, including housing, community development, planning and economic development, the parking authority, DPW, parks, the mayor's office, looked at the requirements of the grant, which were primarily that they should be in a somewhat residential area where there were environmental justice and lower income populations living. The whole idea behind the grant is to bring this technology to communities that otherwise don't have access to it. Or have limited access to it. And so the list that city staff compiled was pretty extensive. And so then we passed, and it spanned most of the neighborhoods. And one of the things that we also looked at was we wanted to try to site these near where there were also other neighborhood or community amenities to try and make sure that they would get used, right? Like putting them on a residential street probably isn't the best move, and no one wants them in front of their house. And so that's where we started. Then CET, who's our technical consultant, that's Steve, who's also on the call, they went through and evaluated each site sort of on that list for feasibility.
Yep.
And then a survey was also released to the public. We got input from neighborhood councils. They basically graded each of the sites based on what made the most sense. Where was there good access to electricity? Where did it meet the grant criteria? Based on the feedback that we got from the public, which sites were rated higher from the public versus lower. And that's how we ended up on these. So these are the sites that rated near the top for all of those categories. And so the four sites are near Myrtle Park in Indian Orchard, near Marshall Roy Park on St. James Boulevard in East Springfield, in the Apremont Triangle downtown, and on Main and Jefferson Street near the new parking area that was just recently installed over the past couple of years.
Okay. Where's St. James? The one on St. James?
St. James Boulevard. It's
Is that near the park?
yeah, right near Marshall Roy.
Marshall Road.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And then once we did that and we sort of really honed in on the ideal sites, we then sent them out. We sent the drawings out to the neighborhood councils. Some of the neighborhood councils in that area came back to us and said, we don't love this location. Could you move it a little bit? Could you move it this way? And so we tried to work with them as much as we could to get them sited in a way that everyone was comfortable with where they were going.
Yeah, Tina, that's good that you all did get feedback from the neighborhood councils. That's good
Yes.
to
And the general public.
And
there was a survey that went out to the general public.
So, Tina, how many? I don't know if you have the exact number. How many did we get back from the general public? You know, surveys.
That I don't know off the top of my head, Steve. I don't know if you have that number because I think they went in through you guys, right?
Yes, I just pulled up the spreadsheet. We had about 20 respondents to the survey.
Not an overwhelming response.
Yeah, it's good. That'll be one of the questions.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Councilor Perez.
So the concern of me asking to have this meeting today was two. First and most of all, I was not aware, but as of last Monday, I've been going into the neighborhood and asking the business owner and with having these portals. I need more elaboration. How many of the, I'm going to call them portals, are going to be at the site at Main and Jefferson? How many are you thinking of having there?
So it's going to be one charger. It's a dual port charger. So it would take up basically 2 parking spots. And I will say the new North Citizens Council was, yes.
Tina, I'm going to interrupt. Just, Councilor Perez, give us like 5 seconds. We gotta adjust this camera real quick.
It's not showing the bar at all.
Oh yeah, I know it keeps.
It just stays on you. So like I called focus and I'm like, just unplug it for 5 seconds.
Sorry, Tina, I ain't gonna cut you off.
That's okay. I'd love for it to pan towards you.
Right, and I was actually fine with it focusing on you. I'm not even dressed properly. I forgot. I didn't forget, but it's like, man, listen.
Thursday is Friday of the week. Can you see the mouse? Yeah, yeah. So turn the video back on.
All right, we're back. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Thank you. So yes, the question was how many parking space, it's gonna be like one portal with 2.
Yes. So 2 ports, and so it would basically take up 2 parking spaces. I will say, we met with the new North Citizens Council. They actually wanted more chargers. And we said, this is a pilot. Let's see how it goes and keep it to the 1. We didn't want to take up too many spaces. We also just weren't sure how it was going to go. So I think that's how we got to the 1. And I think all of the sites do all have the 1 dual port charger that will take up 2 spaces. And Steve, feel free to jump in and correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think that's where we landed.
Nope, that's it.
I hear all of the portals are going near the park and it will not interrupt parking. My concern, speaking for some of the small business in the neighborhood, I think 1 is great. They want the impression that we're going to be more because the purpose of having that parking place was there is to invite people to park the car and walk around the small businesses, the mom and pops. And I'm very vocal about protecting them. And their concern was that then if parking was going to be taken, that people were not going to be parking. But
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And that was a great, concern that was brought up. I was not aware of the project, and I will make it public. That's why I requested respectfully to be sent to committee because I was not aware about the project. And I also, not only as a city council, my other hat is I work with a grassroots organization, and if I would have been involved, we would have been having more results. But I took it upon myself as city council this war to walk around the business and see how did they felt it about it. Um, I think that the concern is that we're gonna have this machine right there in the middle of Main and Jefferson. That's and don't kill the messenger. Um, and how pretty it's going to look versus the other sites that were selected that is going to be in the park. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Counselor.
So it is going to go in the corner. We have it drawn out to go in the cornermost spaces. So if you're facing the parking area on Jefferson, to the right-hand side, the furthest right-hand side is the handicap spot. To the furthest left-hand side, it would be in those two spots. I don't know, Steve, if you have a graphic of what the charger will look like. I don't have that in my packet. I'm happy, Councilor Perez, to share the drawing with you and also a graphic of what the charger will look like for your information. But that was sort of where we landed with that. The other thing I think is worth noting is we encouraged CET to give us designs for portals that will charge faster, which will mean less time in the spaces.
Thank you. Thank you. That was my next question. Yeah. Versus having because I represent Ward 1, the poorest in the North End, and I know there's that many of the cars there to be charging. So that was the concern if we were gonna have more, because it would have had taken out the parking, and it would have defeat the purpose why we created that type of parking to invite people to just park and walk around and consume from the mom and pop's businesses. Thank you for the information. And I think, no, it's a great idea. And environmentally, it helps the community. And I hope we could get more projects like that. But I was concerned because I was not even aware and informed of the project. And then people would, when I went around, the portal itself, they say it's going to be ugly. I says, I don't even know. And if you guys have something that I could send me over via email, how does the portal looks about? I'm still in the verification, Tina, of the North End. So, I just want to have it that the agenda continue to be that. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you. Also, Tina, and you guys might have talked about this on Monday. I just can't remember. I know this is a pilot program, but after the pilot kind of runs its course, who pays for this? Who upkeeps it?
Yeah.
How would that be handled moving forward?
So I believe that our agreement with CET has you all doing maintenance checks for, refresh my memory, Steve, is it 2 years?
Okay.
5 years.
5 years,
5
sorry,
years,
okay. 5 years, but the other piece is the city has the ability to charge, right? So I think our goal is to work with CET to come up with a rate that's appropriate that will cover the costs for the electricity and the maintenance going forward. And so that is something I think we intend to do, but I don't think we've settled on what that will look like yet at this point. But I think our goal is to charge basically the minimum amount that will cover the costs associated with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just to add to that too.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Counselor.
So
with the majority of these types of charging stations out there, there are some ongoing costs that the site host would see. The cloud, the network subscription in order to manage the stations from your computer. That's an important one. The warranty for the chargers, if you want an extended warranty package, that's another ongoing expense, and the cost of electricity would be the third. This program covers the first two for 5 years, which is a really great offer for the municipalities that are participating. Because that is thousands of dollars every year that we would be fronting for the first 5 years. It's really just the cost of electricity through Eversource at these new metered electric services that you're getting for the four sites that you'd have to recoup the cost of. So it's going to be pretty minimal compared to a lot of the other charging stations that you see out there. So, if you set the rate at the chargers to something above, the bare minimum, you'd still be very much in line with the rest of, the charging stations out there in the public, and you might be able to actually make some profit off of them as well.
Thanks, Steve. Council Pres, you have something?
In your experience, Steve, how much a roundabout will cost for the charging?
For level 2 chargers, we usually see in the 30s for cents per kilowatt hour. So like 35 cents per kilowatt hour of electricity that's dispensed.
Sure.
You can set it up.
Mm-hmm.
You have the freedom to set it however you like. You can do the first hour is free, and then after that, it's a certain rate. Or you could, if you really wanted to, just make it free for everybody. But I don't think you want to do that. And there's idling fees you can put into if somebody's there too long. You could charge them $5 every 10 minutes or something like that, just to encourage them to unplug their car and move on.
Right.
Thank you. And the second part of it is after the 5 years, so the city will be taking over those portables for the
Correct.
maintenance and everything else.
Yes,
Thank you.
that would be the thought. And I think we've had some discussions about whether that will ultimately rest with DPW or the parking authority. Which
And
is why
then
both of them have been involved in those conversations.
and then I read the the plan, and then within the plan it says that they have to go underground and they have to do some type. Could you explain that, Steve, that process, please, with the installing of the portals?
Sure. I can share my screen if that helps. I've got some of the site plans up.
Yes.
Great. So if you all can see this, this is the first site. This is made in Jefferson. I'll just talk through this one kind of as an example, but we've worked with Eversource to kind of determine where the power was coming from. They identified a manhole right nearby that we could just pull a new service out of. So we'll bring underground conduit right up to the curb, and then to a distribution cabinet, which has the meter and the panel on the inside, and then the circuit underground going to the charging pedestal. So then Eversource would take it from the curb through the small piece of the street here and into the manhole. Eversource handles all the work in the public way. But it is underground, cable and conduit from manhole to cabinet to charger, essentially.
You.
And you can see the other ones are pretty similar. Aftermont Triangle is coming from a manhole as well. Eversource is going to perform that work in the street, and then we'll take it from there. Marshall Roy was the same thing. Springfield being a bigger city, a lot of the areas are underground electric, so we do have to come out of the manholes. But at Myrtle Street Park, it's an overhead area with Eversource power, so we identified a pole that we could use, and we're just going to install a riser that goes up the pole. Eversource will make the connections at the pole top, and then it's underground essentially from the pole to the meter to the charger.
Now, Tina or Steve, do we have any plans to expand throughout the city with these at all, or are these kind of like the pilot and this is what we're going to be settling on?
I think we're gonna kind of wait and see how it goes. And then I think it will also be dependent on does other funding become available, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that the city is coming out of pocket, out of the general fund to install this type of thing, at least not immediately.
Understood. I know that would probably be a question with some of the counselors in their particular areas. So I'll throw that out there now.
Yeah. I mean, I think if it goes really well and other funding becomes available, then I think obviously that's probably something we would pursue.
Absolutely.
I make a statement from the environmental position is great. I myself before buying my car tried renting an electric car, but it was so difficult here in Springfield because you don't have those portals around. And one that I know of, it was not in a very secure place. So, for me to sit there and wait until it was charged. So, for the record, it's a great idea from those two perspectives. And I think technology is taking place. So, yeah, no, we were just concerned about the area and all that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Anything else, Counselor?
No, not at this point. Not at this point. And I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna make, excuse me, a recommendation as a motion to on the next board meeting we vote for the project. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. So so you're making a motion to send it back to the regular meeting?
With the that we have discussed all matters and it looks satisfied.
All right.
The project looks so satisfied. Thank you.
So I second it. No one else is here, so I second it. So we'll definitely send this back to our regular city council meeting whenever the next time is available. And then we'll look to take up the vote on this. Any other questions? Are you here for this meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have a question before we close out? Because we just went through it.
I thought I was looking for the meeting. Hi, Tina.
Hi, how are
I'm
you?
good. I'm sorry. I didn't
Yes,
know.
sir.
I thought you were in the big
No,
room.
no. You have any firsthand questions?
I can't. I don't even know the context of
Oh,
what you've been- like.
So we were talking about charging stations here in the city of Springfield.
Okay.
Brief synopsis, I'll pass it to Tina if she wants to go through it, but we're gonna have 4 locations on Myrtle Street, Pearl Street, St. James Boulevard, and Main and Jefferson Avenue. So it was on our city council meeting last Monday or this past Monday. We referred it to committee to kind of get more clarification on the project. Is it going to be a pilot program to start off? And they're going to maintain it for 5 years with the city sort of taking over after the 5 years. And then it's going to be figured out, it's going to be handled by DPW or the parking authority. And then to maintain the costs or maintain the project, we're going to look to charge a minimal fee for those to use it, which other areas throughout the country use it maybe 35, it's less than 35 cents. So those are my brief synopsis. I don't know if Tina wants to jump in and give further clarification.
I don't unless you have specific questions. And
Yeah.
You have electric cars,
Yeah.
people that own electric cars for these charging stations. What is the percentage in Springfield? Approximately.
Yeah, that I don't know the answer to.
I'm just curious, like, what is the need? Like, how do you determine how many charging stations you need?
So I think the purpose of this particular grant is to bring these type of charging stations to areas with lower income residential population so that they could have access to charging infrastructure that they don't otherwise have access to. In terms of the percentage of folks that own electric vehicles, I don't know the answer to that.
In those, okay.
Yeah.
Because I see like these, I love to cycle, but I see a lot of bicycle stations
Yes.
just sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wondered if you kind of did like a study or.
The bicycle
of the-
stations,
where
we
you're
do have
placing them.
ridership data on.
Oh, you do?
Once
Okay.
these go in, I believe we'd have usage data as well, but I don't have the bicycle station data readily
No, I
available.
don't want that,
Yeah.
but I just noticed there's a lot of them in the city not being used.
Yeah, I think we're continuing to try to increase ridership there. I think there's a big focus on that. Because we like to keep the amenity and in order to keep it, we need to increase ridership.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, so the motion I accepted and Council Pres, you have anything else you wanna close out this meeting? It is now 4:56 on Thursday, March 5th. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.